I am consumed with mindfulness, meditation, self-awareness, inner peace, and just the journey of self-realization. There's nothing that doesn't happen to me in a course of a day that I don't see as a lesson or an opportunity to learn something new about myself or about the world or both. Um, I'm not sure about any of you out there at all, especially with all the time that we have on our hands now. If you're finding that maybe you're starting to notice a few things you didn't really notice before about yourself because you were so busy running around, going to work and taking care of the kids and buying groceries and going to the movies and just doing all the things that keep us busy. Now you're just sitting home, staring at your computer, watching Netflix, and maybe doing a little self-discovery on your own. It's a good thing. And one of the things that I really wanted to kind of talk about today is I was working out this morning, and I was listening to Jay Shetty's podcast, which I love. I love Jay. He's amazing. And he was talking about negativity, and he was using Hans Rosling's book to kind of explain a little bit more, especially because of what's going on in the world today, how much we really do suffer from negativity in our lives. And it really kind of hit home with me, and so I wanted to share it with you guys and see what you think and see what you're experiencing right now. I've struggled a lot with my life, in my life with negativity, they're talking now about, or Hans in his book talks about how, and it's true, negativity is the norm for us. It's what we gravitate to. We celebrate it. If you think about it, when something good happens in your life, you usually talk about it for about a day, right? But when something bad happens, or you even just get some negative news, you'll talk about it for a week. Some people we know talk about it for months. Another example is, if a plane narrowly avoids crashing, do we even hear about it, right? It's this wonderful thing that it didn't happen, right? And we hardly ever hear about it. But God forbid, if one does crash, we hear about it forever. The news feeds on it. What's the saying? I can't remember. If it bleeds, it reads. Because of that, we feed on it. It's also probably part of our fight or flight instincts that really it's embedded in our DNA. We think, always look out for the negative. There's got to be something negative about this scenario. One of the things that he was talking about, Jay, was he used a couple of examples. One was today, and this is a fact, which one of these three are the truth? Poverty hasn't changed in 25 years. Poverty has increased twofold in 25 years. Poverty has decreased by half in 25 years. Well, I guessed number two. I guess that it's increased, and it's actually not true. Apparently, it's decreased by 50%, and that's amazing. And yet, we always gravitate towards the negative, and I'm not sure how many of you out there guessed what I guessed, and if you didn't, and if you guessed number three, good for you. What was the other one? He talked about, I like this one, the age one. What is the average life expectancy today? Is it 52, 65, or 75? And I guessed 65. And guess what? It's 75, which is amazing. Again, just showing for me that I have this negative kind of gravitational pull. And what is that doing to me in my day-to-day life? And my gosh, what's it doing to me now with everything that's going on in the world? I mean, it just boggles my mind. It's crazy. So He said, we remember the bad times more than we remember the good times. And that's true. We all know that about our lives. We know that we've had these amazing things happen to us, some of which we remember, some of which we don't. But man, do we remember all the bad times. Remember that time when we got into that car accident, or that time, God forbid, that a loved one passed away or whatever. But we don't remember the good. We don't put as much emphasis on the good. And it's because, and again, in Hans' book, he talks about this, that positive feelings are thought. We think, we intellectualize, the positive things in our life, but we feel the negative things in our life. And feeling something, as we all know, is so much more engraving in our souls, in our beings, than just thinking something. And so we need to do more things to start feeling the positive things in our life, which really makes sense. Now I understand why every sponsor I've ever had, or every mentor I've ever had, has always talked about gratitude. Be grateful, make gratitude lists, wake up in the morning and say the things you're grateful for. And what it's doing is you're emotionalizing, is that a word? Your positive influences in your life. And apparently it makes a big difference. So it's an attitude of gratitude, right? And then also there's, what you read about in the news. We all know, like I said, that they love the bad news. They love the negative news. But there's a lot of good news that's out there, and we need to find it, and we need to share it with people. And we need to embrace it more. I didn't even watch the news until this whole coronavirus thing happened again. And I still don't gravitate to it a lot, except for information, because of my kids. And I want to keep them safe and my family. But finding good news, finding the good stuff. I mean, look at the good stuff with the coronavirus right now that we read about or we see about on Facebook every day. The canals in Venice, Italy clearing up, and the skies in China being clear for the first time since they can't remember. Deer apparently walking around in the streets in Tokyo. And, even if that's not true, it's kind of cool. But I'm sure there's many more that we don't even know about, but we can find. And that's the point, is looking at the positive in things. And it makes a big difference in who we are and how we react to the world. One of the other things they were talking a lot about that really resonated with me was being selective about the news. So if we have to watch the news and we're consuming something, we need to ask ourselves 3 questions. Number one is it necessary for me? Is it necessary to my development to hear this or experience it, or even watching a negative movie, which I can't watch anymore, or a TV show that's, violent and negative. And, there's a lot of stuff out there that feeds into our negativity and builds it up and makes it stronger. The second question is it useful to me? Do I get anything out of it? Does it make a difference in my life? And then, of course, does it help me? What I'm watching, what I'm hearing, what I'm reading, what I'm reacting to, is it really, really helpful to me? And it kind of weeds out, or it filters out a lot of the negativity in our lives. And then, of course, finding the facts about what we're hearing. Don't just believe everything you hear, right? We hear that a million times, but it makes sense. Really look into it. We have the resources right in front of our fingertips, especially these days when we're just sitting around waiting to get released from our homes. Do the research and find out. You read something negative, or you read something bad, or whatever it is, just look into it and find the real facts about it. Don't just believe everything that people are saying, or you're hearing, or you're being told. It's sad that even the news you can't trust anymore. So finding the facts is crucial. And then for me, the big difference in changing how negativity affects me every day is in the morning and at night. And what I've done is, in the mornings now, I don't touch my phone. Matter of fact, I don't touch my phone until after I've meditated. That's just a rule, period. But I also wake up and I thank God for everything that is good in my life, and for the fact that I actually woke up, which is a good thing. I've been reading a book called A Course in Miracles, and I'm actually doing the course, which is 365 lessons one a day for a year. And so I'll read that first thing in the morning as well. And then at night, I do the same thing. I'll read my course, I'll read my lesson for the day, and I'll read something else that's positive. What I won't do is watch the news, turn it off, and go to bed, or watch a violent movie and turn it off and go to bed, or have an argument with somebody and then go to bed. I want to make sure that I'm going to bed with a positive mindset. It just makes all the difference for me. It makes a difference in how you dream. It makes a difference in how you wake up the next morning. It makes a difference of the quality of your sleep. It just makes a big difference. I think the most important thing that I took away from what Jay was saying and from what I've read about Hans Rosling is just being aware of this, just being aware of the negativity that's being force-fed to us on a consistent basis is a huge win. It's that awareness, waking up, realizing you're not being fooled anymore. You're not asleep anymore. So maybe my hope is that this has kind of made some of you out there a little bit more aware of what's going on in your life right now, and what's around you and what you're being fed. I hope it has. And if it has, please chime in. And if it hasn't, please chime in. I want to hear everybody's, thoughts about this, because it's important, especially in this day and age and what's going on. And I wish everyone good health and be well and be safe, and take care of yourself. And thank you.